Today, we're jumping right into a moment of absolute high-stakes crisis from the ancient world. It's a showdown where an entire kingdom's fate is hanging in the balance, and it all comes down to the prayer of one king.
So right off the bat, you can tell this is not just a king having a bad day. We're seeing a monarch at his absolute breaking point. The news he's just received is so completely devastating that his only reaction is one of total public despair.
So what does all this mean, tearing your clothes and wearing sackcloth? Well, in the ancient world, this was a huge deal. Sackcloth was this rough, incredibly uncomfortable material. Wearing it and tearing your fine royal robes was a powerful public statement. It was a way of showing profound grief and basically crying out to God when you're facing a disaster you have absolutely no control over.
And here is that disaster. The year is 701 BC, and the most terrifying military machine of the time, the Neo-Assyrian Empire, has just steamrolled its way across the entire region. They've crushed city after city, and now their massive army is parked right outside the walls of Jerusalem, the very last stronghold of the kingdom of Judah.
Now, with the enemy literally at the gate, you'd think the first call would be to the war room, right? To the generals. But that's not what Hezekiah does. His first official move in this crisis isn't a military one. He turns to faith and seeks out a prophet.
And look who he sends. This isn't some junior messenger. He sends his A-team. Eliakim, the guy who runs the entire royal palace. Shebna, his chief administrator, and the most senior priests in the kingdom. By sending these top officials, all dressed in that same sackcloth, he's showing this isn't just a personal crisis. It's a national emergency call for God's guidance.
And the message they carry to the prophet Isaiah? Wow, it's a gut punch. This metaphor is just devastating. They're saying it's like a mother in labor. The baby is ready to be born, but she has absolutely no strength left to deliver it. It paints a picture of a crisis at its absolute peak, a moment of total exhaustion where the solution is so close, but the power to actually achieve it is just gone. That's how desperate the situation in Jerusalem feels.
So in the face of this complete and utter despair, the prophet Isaiah responds, and the message he delivers completely contradicts the military reality that everyone in Jerusalem can see with their own eyes.
The very first words are, "Be not afraid." But then, notice how he frames this. Isaiah says the Assyrians haven't just been trash-talking the king of Judah. No, he says they have blasphemed me. They've insulted God himself. This completely reframes the whole situation. It's no longer just a military siege, it's a cosmic showdown. And then Isaiah lays out this incredibly specific four-step prophecy. This isn't some vague, "don't worry, it'll be okay." He says, 1, a blast, which could mean anything from a plague to a wave of panic, is going to hit the Assyrian camp. 2, the Assyrian king will hear a rumor that makes him pack up and leave. 3, he'll return to his own land. And 4, even there, he won't be safe. He will be assassinated, at home.
But the Assyrians aren't done yet. Their king, Sennacherib, gets word that another army is on its way to challenge him. So needing to wrap things up in Jerusalem fast, he doubles down. He shifts tactics from a physical assault to an all-out psychological war, sending a letter directly to Hezekiah to break his spirit and force a surrender.
And this letter, it's not a negotiation, it's a weapon. It's just a brutal list of all the kingdoms they've already crushed, designed to just stamp out any glimmer of hope. They name city after city, Gozan, Haran, Arpad, even the kingdom of Israel next door. Every name is another reminder of their unstoppable power. The message couldn't be clearer. Everyone we fight, we destroy.
And this is the heart of the whole attack. It all boils down to one soul-crushing question. Look at our track record. All these other nations had gods they prayed to, and where are they now? Their gods were useless. What on earth makes you think your God is any different? They're trying to destroy faith itself with a long history of their own military success.
So, faced with this letter, this evidence-based argument for total hopelessness, Hezekiah makes his final move. It's not a counterattack, it's not a surrender, it's something else entirely.
He takes the actual physical letter from the enemy king, walks into the temple, and just unrolls it, spreading it out before God. Think about how powerful and symbolic that is. He is literally handing the problem over. He's turning this human threat into a divine petition, basically saying, you see this? This is your problem now.
And his prayer, which is recorded right after this, it follows this incredibly clear logic. First, He acknowledges God as the supreme power over everything. Then, he basically reads the enemy's insults right back to God. Third, he draws this sharp line saying, yeah, the gods of those other nations were just wood and stone, but you are the living God. And finally, he asks for deliverance, not just to save his people, but so that everyone on earth will know that his God is the one and only God.
So what we're really watching here is more than just a battle. It's a clash of two totally different approaches to power. It's a collision between two opposing worldviews.
I mean, just look at the tools they're using. On one side, you have the Assyrian king, Sennacherib. His toolkit is filled with armies, siege weapons, fear, intimidation, and really sophisticated psychological warfare. And on the other side, you've got Hezekiah. And his tools are humility, sackcloth, seeking wise counsel, and prayer. It is the ultimate asymmetrical conflict.
And that brings us to the core question this whole story leaves us with. A question that rings out way beyond the walls of ancient Jerusalem. When you are facing a crisis that is bigger, stronger, and more powerful than you are, a threat that has a proven track record of success, where do you turn for your ultimate source of strength?